Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The sound of the door clicking shut rips me from the artificial calm of my evening routine. It's Jenny, back from work. The expected warm greeting freezes on my lips as I catch sight of her, a vivid, red blotch staining her neck. My heart hammers against my chest, a violent thunderclap that drowns out the mundane sounds of our suburban home. What is that? The accusation bursts from me, louder than intended, echoing off the walls. She flinches, hand flying up to cover the mark. Oh, this? It's nothing, just a silly accident at work. An accident? I step closer, my mind racing as fast as my pulse. The dim light of the hallway throws shadows across her face, but I can see the flush of guilt that colors her cheeks. That looks like a hickey, Jenny. No, really, it's not what it looks like. Her voice is too quick, the smile she forces too sharp. I bumped into a machine, it left a bruise. Machines don't leave bruises like that. My voice is a low growl now, the initial shock giving way to anger. The pieces click into place, a late night here, a missed dinner there, always explained away by the demands of her new project. She drops her hand, her eyes meeting mine, flickers of defiance and fear mingling in them. Okay, fine. It's a hickey, but... A hickey. I interrupt, the word tasting bitter. Who? It doesn't matter, she whispers. It matters to me. The room spins slightly, my grip on reality as tenuous as my grip on my temper. Her next words come out in a rush, a confession spilled on the floor between us like something vile. It was Michael from accounting. We had a moment. It was a mistake. I'm so sorry, Mark. Sorry. I scoff, stepping back as if her betrayal is something I might physically stumble over. You destroy our marriage with a moment. It wasn't like that, we just... Enough. I cut her off, the room suddenly too small, the air too thin. You've made your choice. Her plea chases me as I storm out, grabbing my car keys. Mark, please. We can fix this. But the cold has settled deep in my bones, relentless frost. I drive without direction, the night blurring past me, each streetlight a glaring reminder of the shattered normalcy I had once taken for granted. Days turn into weeks, and the divorce papers come as a relief. I channel my anger into ensuring she pays for her deception, professionally and personally. It's ruthless, the destruction of her career, but it's all I can focus on, my revenge against the betrayal. We sign the papers in silence, the finality of ink closing the chapter on what we once had. Jenny tries to speak, to reach out, but I'm already walking away, the echo of our past too loud in my ears. The door closes with a soft click, a quiet end to the storm that had upended my life. Now, ahead of me, lies a path shrouded in uncertainty, and the first steps I take are heavy with the weight of the unknown. What comes next is anyone's guess, but one thing is clear, I will never see Jenny again. The buzz of the city wraps around me as I step out of my sterile office into the twilight. It's been 3 months since the divorce, and the office feels just as suffocating as the silence in my now half-empty home. I need a change, something to distract me from the void that Jenny left. As I wander the streets, the noise of a bustling cafe draws me in. The place is crowded, the chatter and clink of coffee cups a stark contrast to my internal solitude. I order a coffee, black, and find a small table in the corner. I'm not here for company, just the illusion of it. Mind if I sit? A voice cuts through my thoughts. I look up to see a woman standing there, an easy smile playing on her lips despite the hesitation in her eyes. She's familiar in a way I can't place. It's crowded, go ahead, I murmur, gesturing to the empty chair opposite me. She sits, and we fall into an awkward silence. She fidgets with her phone before setting it down with a resigned sigh. You're Mark, right? Jenny's ex-husband. My guard goes up instantly. Yes, that's me. And you are? Elise. Elise Donovan. Her eyes don't waver. I worked with Jenny. I guess I still do. The connection snaps into place, and distrust coils within me. What do you want? Elise takes a deep breath, her fingers drumming a quick, nervous beat on the tabletop. Look, I know what happened between Jenny and Michael, and I think there's something you should know about him. Curiosity piques my interest despite my better judgment. I'm listening. It's not just Jenny. Michael, he has a pattern. I've seen him get close to other women at work, too. I think he manipulates them. Why are you telling me this? I ask, skepticism lacing my tone. Because I think he's bad news. For everyone. He's climbing the corporate ladder on the backs of people like Jenny. And others, who can't fight back. I thought maybe you'd want to help stop him. A pause stretches between us. Her offer hangs in the air, tempting and dangerous. It's not just about revenge anymore, it's about justice, or so I tell myself. How can I trust you? I question, eyeing her cautiously. You can't, really. But I'm here, trying to make things right, or at least better. I have emails, texts, he's not discreet. The thought of diving back into the mess I thought I'd left behind is daunting. Yet, the thought of Michael continuing his manipulations unchallenged stirs something in me, a desire not just for personal vengeance, but for broader retribution. Show me what you have, I say finally, my voice steady. Elise nods and slides her phone across the table. As I scroll through the messages, the scale of Michael's deceit unfolds. It's worse than I thought. We need a plan, I state, handing back her phone. Elise smiles, a sharp, determined thing. I was hoping you'd say that. Together, we begin to outline our course of action. The cafe's noise fades into the background as we plot our next moves. This unexpected alliance feels right, somehow, like a piece falling into place in a larger puzzle. The night grows darker, and as we part ways, the weight of our undertaking settles in. But there's a new energy in my steps, a purpose driven by newfound allies and the unfolding intrigue that promises to change everything. The sun hasn't yet risen when I meet Elise outside the office building where our common adversary works. The early hour finds the streets deserted, bathed in the pale glow of streetlights. We stand in the shadows, a sense of urgency pulsing between us like a live wire. Are you sure about this? I ask, eyeing the badge she's handed me, a visitor pass she acquired through less than official channels. Absolutely, Elise responds, her voice a whisper of determination. We get in, access his office computer, and get out. I've set up a dummy meeting in the system, it looks like you're here to consult on a financial matter. I nod, feeling the weight of the badge clip onto my jacket. The plan is risky, dangerously so, but necessary. As we enter the lobby, my pulse quickens, the security cameras sweeping over us like silent sentinels. The receptionist gives us a nod, barely glancing at our badges. Morning, go right on through. You know where you're headed? Yes, thank you, Elise replies with a confident smile, and we move towards the elevators. Inside Michael's office, the air is cool and still. Elise heads straight for the computer, inserting a USB drive she'd prepared. This will search for any files related to his endeavors. It should only take a few minutes. I keep watch at the door, listening for any sound of early arrivals. The silence is unnerving, every click from the computer sounding like a thunderclap in the quiet office. Suddenly, footsteps echo down the hall, growing louder. Panic rises in my throat. Someone's coming, I hiss. Elisa's fingers fly over the keyboard, a final click sounding just as the door begins to open. She pulls the drive free and shoves it into her pocket, turning to face the newcomer with a practiced smile. Can I help you? She asks as Michael steps into the threshold, surprise registering on his face. Elise, what are you doing here so early? His gaze shifts to me, suspicion darkening his eyes. She doesn't miss a beat. Mark here was just leaving. We finished up early. Michael looks from her to me, doubt flickering across his features. I didn't realize we had an external consultant in today. Last minute thing, I say, offering a hand he doesn't take. Nice to meet you. We don't wait for him to block our exit. Walking briskly, we make it back to the lobby and out into the cool dawn air. Once we're a safe distance away, Elise lets out a long breath. That was too close. But did you get what we need? I ask, the gravity of our situation settling in. She opens her hand, the USB drive glinting dimly under the streetlights. This has everything. Emails, files, even voice recordings. It's damning. The first hints of sunlight touched the skyline, casting long shadows across the pavement. What's our next move? I ask, the reality of our undertaking becoming clearer with the rising day. We take this to HR, the board, anyone who will listen. We expose him, Elise states firmly, her resolve unshaken by the morning's close call. As we part ways, a plan forming, I realize that this is no longer just about my past with Jenny. It's about justice, about changing the toxic dynamics Michael has fostered. I'm in this now, not just for revenge, but to prevent others from suffering as Jenny did, no matter the personal cost. The intrigue deepens, pulling me further into a fight I hadn't anticipated when I first saw that mark on Jenny's neck. But now, armed with proof and a powerful ally, I'm ready to see it through to the end, whatever that may be. The heavy doors of the conference room close with a resolute click, sealing us inside with the board members and HR representatives. Elise and I sit side by side, the USB drive now lying conspicuously on the table before us. Michael sits across, his face a mask of calm that doesn't quite reach his eyes. Let's get started, I say, my voice steady despite the churn of emotions inside me. I nod to Elise, who plugs the drive into the laptop connected to the projector. The room darkens slightly as images and texts flicker to life on the screen behind us. Emails, compromising photographs, recorded conversations, they all paint a clear picture of Michael's manipulations and misconduct. One board member, an older woman with sharp eyes, leans forward, her gaze flicking between the screen and Michael. Is this all verifiable? Every single piece, Elise confirms, her tone professional. We have metadata, timestamps, witnesses. The room buzzes with whispered conversations as the evidence mounts. Michael's composure begins to crack, his fingers tapping a staccato rhythm on the tabletop. Then, unexpectedly, he laughs, a short, harsh sound that slices through the murmurs. This is what this is about. A vendetta led by a jilted husband and a jealous coworker. I feel my temper flare, but before I can speak, Elise responds, "This is about your actions, Michael. Nothing else." The HR head, a middle-aged man with a no-nonsense demeanor, holds up a hand. Enough. We'll need to investigate this further, but based on what's presented, suspension is immediate until a full review can be conducted. As security comes to escort Michael out, he pauses, his gaze locking with mine. You think you've won, Mark? You're just as blind as I thought. After he's gone, the meeting quickly adjourns, leaving Elise and me to gather our things in silence. The weight of our success is palpable, but so is the tension. Outside, under a sky bruised by dusk, Elise turns to me. We did it, Mark. It's over. Is it? I ask, the edge in my voice sharper than I intend. Jenny, she was part of this too, wasn't she? How long did you know about her and Michael? Elisa's expression tightens. I didn't know at first. When I found out, it was already too late. I thought exposing him would fix things. Fix things, I echo hollowly. By using me to get back at him? Was I just a pawn in your game, Elise? That's not fair, she retorts, her voice rising. I wanted to stop him from hurting anyone else. By hurting me? The question hangs between us, stark and raw. We stare at each other, the gap in our alliance widening with each passing second. Finally, Elise shakes her head. I thought you'd understand. I thought you wanted justice. I did, I admit, the bitter taste of the truth stinging my tongue. But not like this. Without another word, I turn and walk away, the cool air numbing my flushed skin. Behind me, Elise doesn't follow. The night grows deeper as I walk, the city sounds a distant echo to the tumult in my heart. In seeking retribution, I'd lost sight of what I was fighting for. The realization that my quest for justice was intertwined with personal vendettas leaves a hollow ache in my chest. As the city lights blur into streaks of color, I understand that this is the end. Not just for my dealings with Michael, but for the fragile bonds forged in the fire of revenge. Elise and I had parted ways, driven by our own demons, our paths diverging under the weight of our choices. In the solitude of the night, I accept the harsh truth. Sometimes, in the pursuit of justice, the lines we draw can isolate us just as much as the actions we condemn. And as I move forward, it's alone, the lessons of betrayal and the cost of vengeance etched deep into my soul.